What's the dumbest thing your significant other has said or done? On the phone trying to describe where we are to her parents, we are behind the car that's in front of us. I lost it. In high school, my girlfriend said, "Do you know what I just realized? There's no state that starts with the letter F. We went to school in Florida." Ha! My sister did something similar. We were playing categories and one of the categories was states. She rolled a P. Halfway through the round, my sister shouts, "That's not fair. There's not even any states that start with P. We live in Pennsylvania." That game can make you feel so dumb. We were driving one day and were stopped at a red light. She's looking at a sign and the following exchange occurs, her, "What a dumb name for a street." Me, huh? What street? Her, "Bone Marrow Drive?" Who would name a street Bone Marrow Drive? It was a sign for a local bone marrow drive that would be taking place, not the name of the street. We still talk about it to this day. Road work ahead? Yeah, I sure hope it does. Nothing too dumb. I have a fan with different settings labeled LMH for how fast the fan spins. She was looking at it and told me she set the fan to large. Hashtag X200B edit, thank you. Large, massive, humongous. Tried to make baked potatoes in the microwave for the first time. Wrapped them in tinfoil. Came to ask me why there were lightning bolts in the microwave and why was it getting very hot. My wife couldn't think of the word wood, and told me to clean up my tree chunks. Ex-girlfriend now, but one time we were talking about changes in taste preferences when she said taste bugs. I corrected her, and she looked at me confused. She had thought that taste buds was taste bugs her entire life up until that moment. My husband and I were at Canadian Tire and they had tiny examples of tents, basically looked like they were made for Barbie dolls, and the pricing for each underneath. He turned to me shocked and asked, "Why are these so expensive for such tiny tents?" I almost died laughing. My boyfriend thought that a sushi roll was a cross-section of a raw eel. Amazing how nature do that. Damn, nature, you tasty. One time my husband called me at work, "Babe, you're gonna be mad. I made a mess but don't worry, I'll fix it." I didn't even ask, just sighed, because he is basically Lucy from I Love Lucy. When I got home a little bit later it was to a living room covered in gray powder, my husband completely filthy with a trash bag and broom and a super panicked look on his face. Turned out he decided to help around the house and wanted to clean the fireplace. He just decided the best way to do it would be to stand in front of it with a trash bag and use the leaf blower to blow the ashes in. Spoiler, that doesn't work. I didn't want to hurt his feelings but I laughed my ass off and it's still one of my favorite weird things he's done. My eldest child was born in December 2004. This was the year that we found out that London had won the bid for the 2012 Olympics. It was announced that children born on 2012 would get free entry to the Olympics. But what if they're not any good at sports? I had to gently explain that it was free entry to watch the Olympics. Think of the gap between 2004 and 2012. We are a year away from being that far away from 2012. Jesus Christ, don't scare me like that. In our language, maple and moose are almost the same word. To make it short, she thought maple syrup was made out of moose horn. Once me and my so went for a walk around a local nature reserve. On the way in we got a map given to us so we could navigate the area. Later on the walk she is looking at the map and says to me, "These maps really need a you are here on them." It took me a second to realize what she meant, so I explained that it's a handheld map and that it wouldn't be possible. It took 45 attempts before it clicked with her. Edit, thank you for my first silver. We were on a walk, in a rural area with lots of farmers' fields full of sheep and cows. She looks off to a field in the distance, turns around to me and says, "Why do they keep birds in a field?" Edit, worded badly, they were actually birds in the field but it was in fact an empty field with birds just hanging out and she thought it was some kind of bird farm, haha. Look at all those chickens. Points at geese. My boyfriend as we were looking up at the beautiful night sky. Wow, there's so much we don't know about the universe. Like where the stars go during the day. Are they still there? If not, where do they go? He was dead serious. I had to explain to a friend that the sun is a star. I could tell that he didn't quite understand, so I made him watch this little bit of Father Ted. That did the trick perfectly. This is the same friend of mine who, when he needed to cram for an exam at university, decided he'd drink coffee and do an all-nighter because that's what they do on TV. He'd never made coffee before, and made a cup of coffee using an entire jar of instant coffee. He spent the night puking and missed the exam. I love my husband, but I have watched him empty a vacuum cleaner bag into a wire wastebasket. I, on the other hand, am frequently unable to remember common words and have to resort to saying things like the box you put stuff in to make it cold. She ate cold turkey to try and quit smoking. You're supposed to quit cold turkey, not start it. Everyone knows that. He picked up our friend's keys, thinking one of her keychains was a laser pointer. It was mace. He got a nice spray to the face and I was sitting right next to him, so I got a lovely dose as well. For the next 30 minutes or so the entire apartment was coughing and dying and trying to air the place out. Even our friend who was upstairs showering could feel the effects. Still love him though. Update, BF wants to clarify he thought it was a lighter or air freshener, not a laser. Still doesn't help his case very much lol. Why would he point a laser pointer at his face? Maybe they expected this, LL but got this, though when I think of mace I think of buttons on top. That's some impressive symbol drawing skill you've got there. Nicely done. My fiancée was setting up for my 30th birthday at a bar. She was blowing up balloons with her mouth and taping them to the wall on the outside deck the bar had. She asked me, why aren't they floating up? Edit, fiancé. Thanks for the silver whoever you are, kind individual. My highest comment ever. Cheers. Edit 2, the balloons. Well, one of them. Imgur.com. Edit 3, ducking gold. Thanks, whoever you are. Boyfriend and I were setting up our daughter's birthday party. We had a small helium tank we got from a party store. To conserve helium he decided to blow the balloon halfway himself, then add some helium to top it off. He couldn't understand why the balloons were only floating at knee height. That's actually a cool effect. She genuinely threw Barack Obama's name was Black Obama. Barack O'Barner. Bronco Bama. Ill answer for my wife. I had gone to Home Depot to pick up a trailer hitch ball for my truck. I didn't realize that they had different shaft sizes, and I didn't know which size I needed, so I called my wife and this conversation took place. Me, are you at the house? Her, yeah, why? Me, can you go out to the driveway and measure the hole in the bumper of my truck? It should be either 12-inch or 34-inch. Teresa pause. Her, isn't your truck with you? Yes. Yes it was. That was how I had gotten to Home Depot. I forgot. Here I was expecting bystanders to hear one side of an argument between a guy and his wife about the thickness and diameter of his shaft. As we were driving along the road we saw a horse with its head over a gate. We slowed down, she opens the window and says moo. And now that horse is telling all his friends about the time he was yelled at by a cow as it was driving down the road. I now ex but we were trying to dirty talk and couldn't think of the word clit, so instead he said tiddly beady was laughing so much that we couldn't continue. Poor guy didn't get to use his wiggly stick. For some reason, when she's done watching a video she doesn't pause it or close out of the window, she just shuts her laptop. This has twice resulted in her scandalizing a quiet lecture hall with the sound of porn resuming at full volume. And she gets off on some wacky shit. I mute my laptop out of habit now whenever I put it to sleep. Not because of incriminating porn noises but because I've been woken up in the middle of the night by the sounds of three grown men talking to each other quietly only to find that my laptop woke up and continued playing Funhouse videos. So just people talking about porn rather than actual porn. One time while dating my now wife, we got into a playful pinching fight while I was driving, probably not a great idea, but we were young. She starts getting frustrated and pinching harder, but my right arm was hooked on her left arm, like when you walk together with your arms hooked in movies. She pinched herself and thought it was me. She pinched so hard she screamed and got mad. Her next reaction was what made me almost crash. She doubled down and did it again harder and screamed even louder. Somehow she didn't realize it was her arm the way we were hooked together, even though in that position I had no way to touch her. She was getting pissed because I was cracking up. Just remembering her anger then confusing always makes me laugh. Edit, wow, gold and silver thanks. My wife says it's not cool you all laughing at her. I'm glad everyone enjoyed the story though.